Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Drew Seidel. I'm a program manager from the education team at Google, and joining me is Alex Inman.
Hello, everybody.
We are extremely excited that you're joining us today and to go over a little bit of our new PD package. The first piece that we would like is go to this short link. It is case sensitive, so I will read it out loud. It's https:// lowercase goo.gl uppercase W uppercase J lowercase m uppercase R 5 uppercase U. If you go here, there's a short survey where you will register, and that way we'll know who's joining us today. And as well, if we have any follow-up items, this will be extremely helpful for us as well. So I will leave this short link up there for a moment, and please do fill out our registration survey.
Drew, let me add to that as well. You can edit your answers. So if you are, you can either wait to click submit until the end of it. The last question on the survey is if you're interested in getting more information from either Drew or me about the offerings that we're about to speak about. And if you click it too early, you can always click the edit to go back and change your answer, or just leave it open until the end of the survey. But please, if you do leave it open, don't leave the webinar, this Hangout, without clicking submit, so that we have your information and we can follow up and help you.
It's a great point. Thank you, Alex. To give you a quick idea of what the agenda is going to look like for today, we are about done with our introductions. Then we're going to give a quick overview of this PD package. Next, Alex from Educational Collaborators will take you through exactly what the PD package entails in detail, and then we'll end with a little bit of Q&A in the closing. My name, again, is Drew Seidel. I'm a program manager at Google for EDU, based here in New York. And in my role, I mostly work with educators in the southeast and parts of the Midwest. I'm so excited to spend this time with you today.
And my name is Alex Inman. I'm a senior collaborator with Educational Collaborators. I am located in Colorado Springs. We're a national organization, so we can help folks from all over the country. But I used to live in Drew's territory over in Washington, D.C., and spent about 4 or 5 years there, and then moved out to see the gorgeous mountains.
Amazing. Great to see you again, Alex.
You too, Drew.
The next.
Hey, can we go back to that last slide for just a second? Because I want to point out Karen and an email address that we have for her.
Yes.
So, of course, Brent is your colleague and partner in crime at Google. And then Karen Montgomery is my partner in crime here at Educational Collaborators. So Karen is our Director of Operations, and right now the email address that we have, googlesales@educollaborators.com, goes to her. And so I wanted to point that out, though I'm the one who gets to blab a little bit about what we're doing. The email for Google Sales, EDU Collaborators, that'll go to Karen.
Cool. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yep.
The next piece is we have a Q&A doc. So anything that we're talking about today is going to be linked in here. So you don't have to worry about taking down URLs or anything of that nature. It'll all be there. And also, we're going to use this document to facilitate some Q&A. So if you would, please do go here. This is another case-sensitive URL. And when you go, you'll have edit access to this document. So throughout the process, throughout this session, if you have any questions, please do enter them in the table within this document, and we'll be sure to be answering them throughout this session and afterwards. So let's start with a little bit of the why behind this PD package. We have this number here, 71%. So I'd like everyone to just take a moment and think about what this percentage represents. As you might have guessed, it has something to do with PD. We did a survey. We were looking at educational organizations, and it turns out that about 71% of teachers attribute workplace stress to the adoption of new initiatives without proper professional development. So on our team, we are recognizing that this is an issue. This is something that we are hoping to assuage as far as concerns. And so given this statistic, we were collaborating very closely with some of our partner companies like Educational Collaborators to create a new type of resource that would revamp training. And we wanted to take it a bit further and develop a program that would help kickstart quality PD and training across districts and help teachers speak the same technology language. Before we built out a program, we wanted to first determine what does successful PD actually look like. And in another study across various states, New Jersey, Colorado, Vermont, and Missouri, we were looking at these states specifically because they had above average scores on the National Assessment of Educational Progress. And one dominant common strategy was partnering with professional development organizations. And across these 4 states, they found varied approaches to professional development policy and implementation, including different levels of support and control at the state level, and divergent strategies for monitoring and promoting professional development activity at the local level. But these states did share some common strategies for leveraging professional development access and quality, including that they were consistently developing standards to guide accountability. They would include staff collaboration, support, and mentoring. They have a way to measure success, and they involve partnering with professional organizations. And the expected outcome of one of these pieces, or one of these programs, is that 25 teacher leaders would become certified in Google for Education Level 1. And now I'll be handing over this piece to Alex.
Great. So we'll talk in just a minute, we'll talk a little bit about some of the details. But what we did is we worked in concert with Google to make sure that Google was able to put together a professional development bundle that included all of those pieces that led to success that they found in the studies that they did with those states. So we'll have a multi-phased approach that covers strategic planning, as well as on-site face-to-face PD, and then some post-consultation. And we've broken that up into, I think, about 5 or 6 different components. Drew, can you advance to the next slide, please? So first, I apologize, just a little bit about our organization. So Educational Collaborators is a Google professional development partner. And we've got trainers and consultants all over the country. Those red dots are, I'll be real honest, they're a little out of date. We should bump that up because we've got maybe 20 or 30 more of those. There's about 160 consultants and trainers in EC's organization, and we spread across the country. You'll see over there on the top to the right some of the Google courses that are offered, and then a small smattering of some of the schools that we've worked with as well. The point to sort of grab from that is that there are organizations that are relatively small, as well as some fairly large ones, like Orange County Public Schools in Orlando is one of the larger school districts in the state. And then some of them others are pretty small. So we're glad to work with schools of any size to help them with any variety of their needs. However, the piece that we want to focus on, particularly with this Google EDU PD package, is your teachers and getting them the literacy skills that they need to be successful through the Google Level 1 teacher certification level. So Drew, can we look at some of the details on that on the next slide, please? So we've got there we go, this one right there. So the nuts and bolts, just to kind of see some of the things that are in this package. It's not just what we call sort of a plunk PD where we drop in, we come in, we do the same thing for you as we would for anybody else, and then we disappear. That kind of PD doesn't lead to the stickiness that's going to lead to real change in your school. So what we've got is a program that really gives us, the PD partner, a chance to listen to you, learn from you, and then work with you to help your teachers get the skills that they need, the certification that they need, and then the opportunity to scale up. So in the beginning, we just start with sort of a setting the stage to understand a little bit more about what does PD look like at your school? What kind of devices do you have? What kind of deployment exists there? What does your environment look like? Then that gives us a little bit of time to think about this and come back and start to work with you on reviewing the process for this implementation. So who are the 25 teacher champions that you want to be part of this process? And who and why and how are they dispersed? And let's think down the road about how we want to use those champions to help leverage your larger PD initiative, not just with the Google tools, but how do you get to achieving the teaching and learning goals that you have as a whole, and how can a Google certification help you advance those? So we'll spend some time on the kickoff call getting to plan that, as well as planning what we're going to do on the 2-day on-site training. So we'll look in just a minute at the outlines of some of the things that we can do on that 2-day training. But this phase here at the beginning gives us the chance to learn who you are and learn how to customize that to meet your desired outcomes. So then we would come on site, and then we do a 2-day boot camp to prepare your teachers for the certification and give them the skills that they need. Now, the skills within these amazing Google tools can be couched and contextualized in any way. The way we would want to contextualize those is within the district or school learning goals that you have. So we would work with you to plan that. On those 2 days, we come and we deliver that. Then after that, we work with those teacher champions to give them some coaching. So there's going to be more that they're going to need to learn after this. There always is. So we want to say, okay, here's what we planned ahead for to make sure that we tilled the soil so that we came and had active, ready learners. We come and we deliver those 2 days of training to your teachers when they're ready. And then part of that is staging them for how they can learn on their own after we're gone through the outstanding online training center that Google has made available, so that we can prepare them for that. Then we can also give them 2 one-hour hangouts to help them with that through coaching, to kind of help them figure out, okay, I've learned this stuff. How do I use this in my classroom? I've tried this. Give me some feedback on that. So you get a little follow-up work with those 25 teacher champions during that time as well. And then it's time to see if you can get those teachers certified. So part of this bundle that we have not only includes the training and the prep, but also 25, level 1 exam vouchers for those teachers to go and take those tests. And then that is just the seed. We've planned and prepared those 25 teacher champions. Now we want to talk with you as a district about how can you leverage those 25 rock stars in your school or your district to go and spread it out. And part of this bundle also includes an additional 100 vouchers to go get more teachers certified and get them prepared. So the biggest piece of this is that 2-day on-site. So let's look at some of the details and options associated with that. Drew, can you hit the next slide? There we go. So inside that, after we do the setting the stage and kicking off, once we come on site, there's really 2 main approaches that EC is recommending for your teachers. If you have teachers that already have a pretty good level of literacy, they've been using the tools, you've got Google Apps in your environment, and they already get the concepts and now they're ready to go get certified, we would do this first one, Google Educator Level 1 Prep course. And that's where we're going to come, and it's all Google tool focused, couched within pedagogy, but focused towards your success on that Level 1 prep course. The second one, creating collaborative learning environments, is a little more for teachers who may not be familiar with the tools, or they know the tools, but they don't fully understand and appreciate the potential. And so to prepare them for the Level 1 exam may feel a little intimidating for them. So if that's intimidating for them, we can do that. Or perhaps you have some that are already Level 1 and they're looking for some depth within the curriculum and pedagogy as well. Collaborative learning environments could be tweaked to meet those needs as well. Let's look at some of the details. Drew, next slide, please. So on the Level 1 prep course, the outline of this 2-day experience specifically ties to the outline of the course. We've worked with Google. We know the kinds of questions that they're going to be looking at or offering you, and the kinds of literacies that they're looking for in the exam. So we will be walking you through all of those in a way that's aligned with the kinds of questions and the context of the questions that are going to be asked within the Level 1 prep course. So we'll look at professional learning with technology, digital citizenship, 21st century. We'll look at the tools in digital classrooms as well. And when you grab the, I won't read through all this stuff. We only have 30 minutes for this whole thing, but you can go back and you can read these things when you look at the recording of this presentation. And then we'll look at students' online skills and students living in that online environment and fitting that into the classroom curriculum. All of this content is tied directly to the Google Level 1 exam. Now let's look at the creating collaborative learning environments. So this one, like the first one, can also be customized, but there's not as much customization to the prep course one because we want to make sure that all your teachers have the materials that they need to be successful on the exam. But in the creating collaborative learning environments, this one, if it's not geared explicitly towards the exam, we can have a little more freedom. Or you could say, hey, my teachers aren't really ready. There's a lot that they need to learn, but we want this to be a tool and experience that guides them towards the exam. We can also customize this to make sure that it is guiding and pointed in the direction in the exam, but still covers more of the basic literacies. And so you learn the tools, but you learn them more within the context of how they would fit within a classroom environment. So you're not just learning Drive, you're learning Drive and Docs, and within a sharing and collaborative environment. What does collaboration look like in your classroom, and how can you design pedagogies around that? Digital workflow using Google Classroom. There's a lot that we do, and there's a lot that we spend time doing that doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with teaching and learning. How can we use Google Classroom to streamline that so that we can effect more time on teaching and learning experiences? Save time communicating with Google. If you can back it, there you go. With Google Calendar, again, more efficiency stuff. Teaching students online skills. This sounds awfully similar to what you saw in the exam as well. Google Docs, slides, and sheets, where we start talking about presentation and authentic presentation of what you've learned. Personalization. And we'll talk about inquiry-based, project-based learning, and blended learning models, specifically how you can use those tools that you just learned to advance those particular types of pedagogies. And if you, at your school, you have a driving pedagogy at your school that you would like us to wrap this around, we have experts across a variety of pedagogies as well. And so we can work with you to make this fit a little more within the language, context, and culture of your school. Talk about video and then teaching beyond the four walls and getting outside your school using some of the outstanding collaboration tools that we have. Drew, next slide, please. So we wanted to cover with you what's included in this package, the cost for this package, as well as the material that's in there and how we can customize that for you. We wanted to give you guys some time for some Q&A. So we have the Q&A document. That's the URL for it if you didn't get it before. It is case sensitive. So https://goo.gl/lowercase t, uppercase u, lowercase f, lowercase l, lowercase a, and lowercase o. Let me pop my tab over and see if any questions are sitting in there. I don't see any. Drew, do you see any questions at this point? Drew, if you're talking, you are on mute.
No, sorry, I was just getting over. I've got lots of windows open. I am not seeing I'm not seeing any right now, but I want to make sure that we're not having a problem with the doc.
Okay. The other thing that is important, and actually if any of you are on the presentation, pop into the doc and just pop something in there just to make sure that we're not having a problem. The other thing that I want to point out is, in addition to, let's make sure that we have editing shared. Can find and access and can edit. Anyone on the internet can find and edit, so we should be good. The other thing that I want to point out is Drew has added an enormous amount of resources from Google for Education onto that Q&A. So even if you don't have questions, I think it is wise to grab and make a copy of this document so that you have one in your folder and you can take advantage of the resources that Drew has made available. He also looked at the IDC study that was on there Actually, it was a different study that had the 71%, but the IDC study that talks about Chromebooks for schools, some of the key data points associated with that are in there as well. Let me make sure that we are looking at the same document here. Open a new tab. Yep, opens the document that we have. Oh, and I just saw, oh, that's just me. Drew, are you able to access the document?
For some reason, I'm not. Would you like to share your screen?
Yes, please. Alrighty. I am sharing the Google Edu PD package. Now, when I grab that, so let's make sure our sharing is on. Anyone on the internet can find and edit. Done. And here are the resources. So we will make sure that we are find out what problem that we're having, and that we keep the same URL so that you can access this. And then, are there questions or comments that sit on the? We don't have comments that are sitting currently on the YouTube. What we can do, also make sure that you have signed the survey, and that you have put your name into the survey and click submit. And I'll also follow it up with making sure that everybody who's in here has a chance to access this this Q&A document, mostly so that you can get access to the contents that are down here at the bottom. Now, we do have somebody else that's in here now, and it's an anonymous person, so somebody was able to get in.
But I did just put the link that gives edit access inside of the Hangout on Air. So if you have access, I see that there are 12 viewers, so there is a link now inside the group chat.
Great.
You can join through that as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. All right. I will come back here. And then if you have a link to, and you put the link inside the chat. So I'm going to advance this to the slide here. If you have, this is the survey. So if you did not get the survey at the beginning, and we had about 5 or 6 people join late, the survey for interest in this, or so that we can also follow up and make sure that we send you this information, is goo.gl/W, capital J, lowercase m, capital R, the number 5, and capital U. Please take the time to fill out the survey. Now that we have some folks in there, let me pop over. We have 5 minutes left. Let's go to the Q&A. At this point, there's still no questions. So I think we can probably end and give people the 5 minutes of their life back. Drew, do you have anything that you want to wrap up with?
No, that was great. Just thank you so much for joining us. Alex, thank you for giving the overview. Sounds like an amazing PD package, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Very good. Thanks so much to Google for working with us on making this available out to the marketplace. We're excited.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye, Alex.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.